Study this makeup look with me. Her lips are very plump, but it looks there wasn't much lip product used, so I used this lip plumper and this shit burned. Right now I'm just hiding my septum, but later I'm gonna put it down and use it in place of the lip piercing. She looked like she's wearing contacts, so I put in these black circle lenses for an enlarging effect. And this was actually my first time trying them on. So cute! And I loved it so much, even without makeup. Here's the update on our lip situation. To thin out my eyebrows like her, I'm gluing them down and I'm laying the hairs really flat, and then I'm just reshaping them to be straighter with a soft arch. I tried to find like an ashy taupe color for the brow, and I end up only filling the tail and defining the bottom of the brow, and then cleaning it up with stick foundation. Her base looks pretty full coverage, so I'm putting on foundation. And the concealer looks pretty prominent under the eyes, the eyelid. And I really wanted a matte base, so I'm packing on a lot of powder with a puff instead of a brush. For the eyes, I put some black eyeliner in the inner corner, and like hers, I stopped when I hit the edge of the iris. I lined the upper waterline, and I did the eyeliner a little downwards and thinner than I usually do, and I stopped around the center of the lid. Then I tried to create an even thinner line to connect it, but then I freaking messed up. For the inner corner, I switched to a brow tint pen because the tip is way finer there and it's not as opaque. For the inner corner, you want to angle it a bit more downward. Then I took an ashy cool gray and placed it under the bottom lash line, stopping around the center of the pupil. Then with the same color, I used it for the aegusol, and I started behind my inner corner, and the distance between her eye and the aegusol looked pretty similar to my natural one, so I just traced mine but extended the bottom, running parallel to the eyeline. Next, I took a base shadow and I stamped it onto the eye fat part, so this makes the color more opaque. And I also put that under my brow bone. She has wet highlight, but I don't have one, so I just used the closest thing I had. I placed that in the inner corner and then lightly under the center of the pupil, but only in like a thin line. Then I prepped my lashes and I used 3 manga lash clusters, one in the center of your pupil, one toward the outer corner but not all the way at the end, and one toward the inner eye. Then I put even more lip plumper and my freaking lips were stinging. For contour, I used a cool tone eyeshadow under the brow bone. Then I drew a horizontal line across the tip of my nose. I don't actually have a cool tone contour, so I was using eyeshadow, but it was kind of stiff and hard to blend. I ended up just putting bronzer on top and blended that into the brow bone area. For the bottom of the nose tip, I kept the gray and didn't really blend it. Then I carved the sides with powder. Then I took like a hot pink color and I put that on my cheeks, only near my eye and up to my temples. Then I placed highlight in a horizontal line on the tip of my nose, then a straight line on the bridge, and then on the inner corners. For the brow bone highlight, I didn't put it under the arch, but instead in a straight line, like before the point of the arch, like in the photo. Then I placed freckles on the tip of my nose, kind of like I was contouring with it, and then I just copied the rest from the reference. She had a lot more freckles also on the side of her cheek, so you can kind of place them across where you're contouring blush.